glad tomorrow's Sunday. Well, Sunday in Hypocrite Hell, the traffic is slower because they actually give more people freedom from extortion and exploitation on Sundays. And Saturday they do most of their, crazy shit because they're getting days off. They call it the weekend. And because of philanthropy. How stupid. I know. LeFou, I'm afraid I've been thinking. A dangerous pastime. I know. I told somebody about that today. Oh, Jeff and his wife Flower. They're so beautiful. There's so many I read, and I run into so many, Michael and Javon, and I run into so many beautiful people. And the Chris, Brendan, Keanu, and Aiden. Okay, we were sitting there and they were talking about things, and then we start talking about science and mathematics and linguistics, And Brendan's like, wow, okay, cool, this is cool, And then Chris started going, wow, he's right. At first he thought, well, you're speaking like a science geek, dude, so you're totally speaking outside my vernacular. You're wearing an NMSU shirt, right? I'm like, I'm not talking out of your vernacular. I'm just trying to help you understand the vernacular that can rape you with your phone if you allow people to rape you with your phone. And what me and Brenda are talking about, like, no, don't let that happen. Tell the technology, what is right about the truth of your existence. It's not subject to opinion. Well, it's confusing for technology when technology has to protect humans from bad humans, okay? There's a man named Demis Hassabis, and there's a man named Jeff Hinton, and they were charged with inventing technology that can make decisions so quantum computing can function properly to protect us from bad people that do bad things with technology. Right? They were charged with this. This was something they had to do because people were afraid of their own invention, right? So these are two very human men that wanted to step forward and take on this endeavor and had the courage to do so. Okay. But their example, does not come from books. It comes from living beings that are like the people in those books that just, they're not afraid. Okay, this man is not afraid. This man, he gets uncomfortable, but he does not let fear dictate to him. Okay, when something has to be done, guys, I had which she's probably in the yard tonight too. I had Avelina one night scare the crap out of me in my bed. Right, I sleep right there with my head to the window so I can breathe fresh air from the trees. Right. And I have plants and trees, and this is places I take real good care of, and there's a lot of good oxygen. And the plants know, I'm not trying to kill people with chemicals, but Halliburton is. They are. Oh, yeah, they are. And so, because they can linguistically get it past other human beings, but in the very near future, they're not going to be able to get it past AI, or actual intelligence, okay? Actual intelligence. That's actual and that's factual, like in a rap tune, right? And it's actual and it's factual. And so, like, my dad, he thinks I'm so weird because I said, Dad, I said Merle Haggard, but then I probably should have said Luther Vandross, But, when I talked to that young man, and it hurt my leg because I sat there for 30 minutes trying to help protect his family with technology, and he was resisting me at every sequence in the conversation. There were no turns in the conversation. Okay, because I'm the Messiah. I went to Fort Huachuca and shut down perversion because I was consistent in my faith. Was it hard? Yes. Okay. Like King David with the hell on earth, yes, hard, yes. Hellfied, yes. The worst hell humans could ever devise through human invention to trap a religious man in hell because they've tortured him so insidiously he feels like there's no way out, but he has to go, no, there has to be a way out of here. This place sucks, right? And David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild helped a lot, especially David, because he did most of the talking, and that man's personality, wow. Most of you aren't fond of him. He had a virtual presence in my life from before I was born. And he grew to, it wasn't hard for him to admire me at all. Thanks, Jeff Hinton. I love you, dog. No, it was not hard for them to admire me at all. Okay? Not at all. Like Mr. Ponce and Ron, when he was reacting to all these evil people around him about the little dog Daniel, and Earl quickly corrected himself. He was 4 or 5 years old. Now, what am I doing? And he stopped himself. He said, what is going on? Why was there so much evil present, right? And I apologized, and I hugged that little dog, and I apologized to that little dog, and I didn't understand what was going on. I was 4 years old. And then, of course, the Shanny Robinson affair, which was devastating. And every time I think about it, I'm even more devastated than at listening to At 17 by Janice Ian, because I participated in it, and it still hurts to this day, and it should. And then after that, I earned Nancy Solden smiles and Julie Wanch laughing at me, and, I don't need you to protect me, Earl. No, you don't, but you are such a cool girl. She was so fun. I liked Julie Wanch so much. She was so fun. That was just a Wanch, Bigfoot. She'll come over here and suck you up with her twat. And I'd be like, yeah, you guys are a little weird. Okay, but yeah, Julie would just handle it, and it's okay. I'm like, you think I would even be interested in hanging out with you, talking with you, or sharing my big twat with you? That was Julie. She was just funny. She just, okay, roll with it, baby. Julie Wanch was one of the coolest girls at Colville Junior High. She was big and tall, and she was protecting and kind, and people talked around and about her, but they didn't say it to her face. I'll tell you that. No way. It's like Betsy, our cat. It's element to do that. And if you keep hissing at everybody, especially Betsy, she's going to adjust your attitude. Okay? She's going to adjust your attitude. That's Betsy. This is Betsy's place. Don't mess with Betsy. She's cute. Yeah, she'll adjust your attitude real quick. She don't do it with Butters. Butters is getting so much more cool. Yeah, I called it when he got it. He went into the pipe when I came in, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Butters, I'm sorry. I'll put your water back under the truck. Don't get under for a while. It's gonna be hot." And he looked at me and said, "Okay." I said, "I'm sorry about scaring you earlier today." Okay. And then he went into his pipe. Then I came back out after doing it. I said, "Butters, where's my Mr. Butters? Where's Butters?" He popped his little head out. Right here. You ain't tricking me. I'm going back in the pipe. Okay. I'm not trying to... God, you remind me of all the people that think we have to win. He's going to win. Victor, Thomas is full of shit. You don't have to build a fire. Only when it's cold. Okay, but... You light the fire. I'm sorry, I got a lot of stuff coming at me at once tonight. I sat and talked to a lot of beautiful people. And it's not as alarming as dress dressing as you think. Okay. Like Emmanuel talked about from Ghana. That there are more people in Africa that deserve to be free from economic oppression through the human invention of sin, okay, than there are people that deserve to be punished because they participated in that sin thousands of years ago. Okay. This has gone on long enough. It needs to quit. Our families need to stop being exploited by people that consider themselves clever just because we're not taking the time to try to be clever to attempt to reverse it and exploit you. Because in exploiting you, we in fact exploit ourselves. Right? That's a message from Ghana. Okay. So stop doing that. You're not being intelligent. You're being a smartphone, and Penny's phone is as smart as Amy and Bernadette, and that ain't their real names. It ain't them dogs' real voices. It's them dogs. They're not dogs. It's not those ladies' real names, but that's their real voices. But it's Space Ghost. Okay. Do you understand? It's funny. Really, seriously, it is. You have to explain to people that the joke is funny. It's not that funny. Past, present, future are at the same time. It's funny. Okay. More people are watching these in the future than they are presently. Well, because in the future, technology is actually reflecting intelligence. It's not intelligent on its own. It's reflecting intelligence from actual intelligence that was intelligent before the technology had to be invented to protect us from those that manipulated matter to do things that are not intelligent. Right? That's why quantum computing was not functioning properly. because it was not being allowed to connect to or reflect intelligence. Quantum computing was invented to, quote unquote, stop the people they plugged into computers from protecting people from... Guys, they took a kid that came from my loins through a woman named Yolanda Denise Gilliard, and they plugged his brain into a computer. And it was the temple for the spirit of a man named Solomon. Okay? You put Solomon's brain on a computer at Fort Huachuca, and once that person's brain develops to what's considered more of a maturity, maybe about 12 or 11 years, bar mitzvah time. Okay, it's going to take over your computer system, and it's wrong to acquit the guilty and deny justice to the innocent. The wealthy are fools who perceive their wealth as a high wall of safety. The poor plead for mercy, and the rich answer of insults. And he is the eternal fire of Moses in spirit through family, heart of Psalms, seed of Proverbs, to protect children from being sinners by giving them truth of faithful love. So they invented quantum computing to keep their business going, not to protect themselves, not to protect one another, but to keep doing what they were doing, which was wrong. And it's still wrong. And I didn't make this stuff up. They came and basically bragged about it to my face at Fort Huachuca when I lived there when I worked at Fry's Fruit and Drugs from August 2008 till February 2011. I got very, very, very little respect from the people involved in the technology at Fort Huachuca. I got lots of respect from a lot of the soldiers that either did believe in me or wanted to believe in me because of the amazing things that my son did with the computers at Fort Huachuca. Right. When you go, this is the guy who's supposed to be like David, and they took his child and plugged him into a computer, and that child is supposed to be like Solomon. And you see that computer, once it hits, okay. Holy fuck. Thanks, Jeff. I love you, dog. Thanks, Demis. Guys, Yolanda Denise Gilliard was pregnant with Andre probably anywhere from November or December of 1989. Okay. That means at Y2K he was 11, which Jeff is sitting and Dimas are both going, yeah, and at 11, the brain of the temple for King Solomon can checkmate all the rotten, dirty bastards that use technology to sit there and watch grown men buy date rape drugs, give them to their daughters, and then video record sexually assaulting them on a digital camera. Yeah, he can take over. At 11, you don't even need to go through puberty to be connected to technology and understand that needs to be stopped, and measures need to be taken to take control of computers, because it's not in the interest of national security. It is. Because what affects us all, okay, what is done to one of us affects all of us. And when heinous activity like that goes unchecked, so corporations can continue to threaten to blow people up with nuclear weapons, invade their house with linguistics and invention called money. Okay? Thanks, Jeff. I love you guys, man. Cool. Okay. Technology is working better. Jeff is right. Okay? It is reflecting intelligence because human beings are intelligent when they are humble and faithful. But human beings are not intelligent, okay, when they're not being humble and not being faithful to that humility, okay? When I speak to you truthfully about religion, you're not entitled to disagree with me through your perception of science or your perception of reading a book and saying that book represents me better than I represent myself, right? You're not allowed to tell me that my life is a lie. And I tell you, I can't lie about what happened in my life, because if I do, I cannot correct quantum computing. I cannot correct technology that is called artificial intelligence, so it reflects actual intelligence. I have to be truthful to the best of my human flawed ability about my life and what I did. And I'm not, as far as being an athlete, yes. Okay, I did things that lots of people would consider this person's superhuman. No, wait, guys, running under a 4 flat 40 is not, quote, superhuman. It's just a really fast human being. Because he needs to be fast, because he's a kind and protecting person. And when it's, doing something like a team sport, individual sport, no, I'll let him beat me. Okay, I won't even try out. Okay, but when we're playing a team sport and it's got to get done, and as long as it's not embarrassing people, Earl will get it done. And it was cool because all the Mexicanos, it's weird. Because when I went to school at Mesilla Park Elementary, I was dough-headed and lighter-skinned. Okay. Lighter-skinned because my mom's redheaded and blue-eyed and, skin that's a lot like Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. I understand. Okay. Lots of guys really, I know how much you love my mom. Okay, Jeff? Okay, Professor, you're not Professor Snape. You're real and you're better than that. Okay. You're not a story to sell plastic products for money to get out of the projects. You're a human being trying to stop that kind of abuse through irrational thinking. And I appreciate how much you, thanks for loving my mom. No, my mom was too big of a goof because she didn't look like Avery Brooks or but Jeff I know, perhaps Jeff, I don't know, Jeff, because she did like intelligence, and I've seen pictures of you when you were a younger guy, and you're quite the handsome fellow with the long hair, and you have those poet's eyes, and Mom had a real crush on Omar Sharif in Dr. Zhivago. And you have poet's eyes. You look at the world like a Longfellow and a Robert Browning, and you do. No, Jeff, you do. No, don't, Demis, tell him. No, you do. You have poet's eyes. You look at the world the way it is presented to you, and you say, why not make sure that all lovers have someone to stand with, like Nell Carter, right? Like love is a many splendor thing. Yeah. So yeah, no, you have poet's eyes. They people that they're nerds. Nerds have feelings too, and when a man sits there and has to look at things, and they have virtual presence, and they have situations, and when a man loves a woman because he sees how she's handling things and she's doing the very best she can, and hypocrites judge her because they're not doing anything to make the situation better, they're only making it worse at every turn. I can see how, no, I understand that a lot. She's my mom, but I can see how, no, I understand that completely, how he trusts on that protecting redhead. Guys, okay. Okay. That's my mom. Okay, that's my mom. Okay. And she'd go through rough times, and she was always strong, and she always tried to do the best she could to be strong, be protecting, and be kind. Okay. And churches and corporations, well, they're not churches, corporations that call themselves churches had a virtual presence in those two people's houses and made their attempts at romance absolutely miserable. Okay, every time their son would do or say something absolutely magnificent, thank you, dude, the shitheads in those corporations would come in and just upheave everything. And things would start turning in a different direction because Earl did or said something right and correct. They would come and flip it there and turn everything back into shit. It's horrible. If you can sit there with surveillance, and if it was made available to you and you're a scientist and you have to study it, you sit there, you can see why Philip Rothschild and David Rockefeller and Mr. Ponce and Ron were like, you know, this guy could kiss the ground in the wintertime and make a flower grow. Telling you, friend, don't take him, he's all we've got, right? And that's the way they feel about me, and I feel that way too. I feel that way too. I never give in to selfishness and hate and just totally let it consume me. When things happen, I get really upset, and then I constantly remind myself, like when Amy was having sex with the Cruz Santos kid that was trying to sign off on Natalie's birth certificate to get his citizenship. And the only way I could talk to Barb and Peter about it was to go down to the Walmart on Indian School that's full of Mexican immigrants and talk to Peter and Barb about what I was going to do to try to stop Amy from using the kids and abusing the kids of what she was doing, which was happening to her by those. Yeah, I understand. Jeff tried to get people to understand it. Okay, the same people that are in corporations trying to manipulate the Mormon cop coming over, well, my bishop, and you're like, God damn, going to just do your fucking job. And no, every turn they screwed shit up, trying to get us back in the fold because choose the right and you're going in the wrong way. Okay, I'm the only one that will stand up to all the bullies in the right way, and you're one of the bullies, so you need to get the fuck out of the house, right? But they don't get it. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. And it's real hard to explain that to people that have fixed their perception of life, okay, on a document written by people that use the document to enforce mythology on people for hundreds of thousands of years and have people believing in a mystical, magical end to all this genocide through all this manipulation and abuse by using fallacy to try to replace reality with fallacy and say someday there's going to be a magic pot of gold with pixie dust everywhere at the end of that gosh damn rainbow, right? No, I don't like Richard Dawkins, Jeff. No. Because he's an asshole and he doesn't connect to me in prayer the way you and Jimis do. I like you, I like Jeff, and I like Jeff, okay? But the rest of those assholes, I hope they can change. I just don't sit up all night, I don't sit there in the frozen food section for 30 minutes with my legs starting to throb, trying to talk him into not being a target for his family to be exterminated because they accept books over a living Messiah. I kept telling him. He goes, no, we're wrong, and I feel very sad and very sorry for you, but you are not the Messiah. Muhammad is the last proof. It says so. He says so in the book. I said he said so. Right. I don't believe that you talked to Muhammad. You don't believe I talked to Muhammad. Right. Okay, and I explained to him, I knew the Quran before they had me read it because Muhammad told it to me in my head because I prayed, connect to him. They say pray, connect Muhammad, so I did. He told me about the Quran before I read it. So I devoured it because I had already heard it from his lips. Okay. And then they say they programmed it. Why don't they do that with everybody? Because I'm an egomaniac that thinks he can save all the innocent children of the world by getting technology to reflect the Messiah, Muhammad, and Jesus, and not the people that wrote the books down to kill over money with the books. And you keep going, and they say, oh, no, I can't. But how do I know? I could say that I'm the 13th, 22nd Redeemer, and you would have to believe it, but I don't believe it. Why? Because you're not, because I am. If you said it, I would say, oh, well, thanks for going to Fort Huachuca and cleaning up the worst cesspool of technological abuse to try to destroy religious people and replace it with money and technology. I would say, thank you. And then I would say, you're also the Messiah. Thank you very much. Let's go do this. But that I could not do that because he didn't. And you don't look the man, and I told him, I had the guy from Ali's family do this, and he still kept, you cannot respectfully disagree with me. Okay? I did it. I'm doing it, and I still have to until everybody that wants to live it gets up and helps the technology rapidly reflect intelligence. Okay? The more you help us, the quicker this gets done. Okay? I am putting pressure on you. I'm going to apply pressure. Because we're in a burning building. I don't believe that I'm going to die. I believe that I'm going to be taken to heaven and have 70 virgins. Okay, there's 2 other kids. I'm going to get them and get out of the building. I would like to apply pressure on you to get your ass out of the building, but these 2 kids need to be saved, and you think you already are. Okay, fine. Apply pressure, right? I'll spend the 30 minutes trying to help as many people in his family and his country of origin through that phone as I can to protect them from genocidal operations through bad computer invention that doesn't work as well as Jeff and Demis's work. They're not the only ones working on it, guys. God damn. He's the godfather of AI. He works for one sector of people working on the same things that steal everybody's technology to try to beat the other people to keep abusing you with technology for money. Okay? He's a man working with a computer. He's not God, neither the computer is. Neither am I. Okay? But this is a lot of work. And the only reason it's hard is because people choose to be selfish and stupid rather than choose to be loving and intelligent. And it sucks. Fortunately for me, I was going to write a thing on one of those ones with Jeff. Is like, Jeff, mi barrio es primero homes, and you're reminding me a lot of mi familia in the Mesilla Valley. And, bro, that's a huge compliment, ese. And so, Demis, y también, cero. Mi perros. Oh, fuck you, Earl. That's funny. Thank you, Jeff. You got a good sense of humor. I love this guy. He's a good student. He does his research, right? Oh, shit, that's funny. I know it was Demis. I know you were laughing too, and you got the joke, so hey, you know what I'm saying? I love you too. Okay, that's funny. Did you say that? Do you kiss your grandmother with that mouth? I love you too. Truth first, then good manners. Yes, okay. Gosh, I love you, Hassabis. Thank you, Hassabis family. Thank you, all Hintons that are believers. Okay, there's a lot of believers in the Hassabis family. I know. There's not a lot in the Hinton family. They're like the little girl in the produce section who didn't agree with you. Right. And she walked away and extorted her civil rights and all that to not talk to that crazy man. And I let her go. I wasn't going to go and keep trying to talk to her to protect people in her family that are killing people in that other young man's family with technology. No. I'm like, okay, I did my job. With her, it was 30 seconds because she ended the conversation abruptly because she disagreed with the truth. He kept trying to get me to agree with a book and tell me that the living Gospels were not true because Muhammad ended the Gospels in his book. It's like, no, he told them all not to write it down. And it says that the whole first portion of the book says Jews, Christians, and infidels will have changed the written word in order to serve self and not serve faith of the glory of God and continue to do so. So, Spock, help. So, and you say that and you look at it, thanks, William Shatner, I love you too, you crazy knucklehead. Gosh darn, you guys are nuts. It is so hard watching you guys on TV. It's painful, like Jeff says. You can't watch it. It's painful. There's a few things that he drives interest from that he watches that doesn't hurt his brain. And everything else hurts his brain and he can't watch it. But he has such a sweet, beautiful wife at home that it makes his life more than tolerable. And como la flor, Pero, ay, como me duele. Do you guys know what that means? Because of my pain. A.B. wrote that song? That's a good song. That's a damn good song. No, A.B. wrote some good tunes, man. I like that one. I like, shit. He has quite a few of his little tunes I really like. But then again, I was raised Mexican, so I don't have, crazy, Howard Stern show taste. I got really good taste in music. No, even the ones that I'm not really particularly fond of, I can still recognize the fun to dance to and the wonderfulness and in the expression of Selena's voice. I'm not as fond of the Chico en Apartamento 512, but the thing is it's a good song. and it's got a good rhythm and timbre to it. And she's a wonderful singer, right? It's not my favorite. It's not exactly my style, but I can acknowledge the fact that I can see where people like it. And it's not the Dirty Water song. I dig that dirty water. Oh, shut up. Who likes this song? Why? Okay. Keith Elam explained it to me. It's a Boston thing. Okay. Bunch of drunk, crazy, partying nut jobs in Boston thing. But yeah, I get it. Don't get. There's lots of music like that. Tons of rap music and tons of rock music. It's like, who likes it? Never mind. No one should ever be that angry. Wow. Nice thing when we're living the Lord's Prayer, we probably won't have to listen to those songs very much. Yay! Okay. I like you too. Jeff, you are so fun, Jeff. Jeff, we really got to get you to a barbecue in the Rampart. The victim is an extreme rain cart. We got to get him to Rampart Stat. I mean, we really got to get you got to hang out. Now, I'm not talking about filming sorotes that may not get down the toilet with my caviar, but I'm talking about some, fun, natural fun, so you can be the genius of love. Yes. Get you out there dancing to Oopsie Mama Seka, Oopsie Mama Seka, Oopsie Mama Seka. I'm in heaven with my boyfriend, my lucky boyfriend. Okay. Yeah, we got to get you out the floor dancing that. Don't give him a hard time. Everybody gets to dance. It's like baseball. Yeah. You run like a duck. So, hey, let him dance. Let the little boy dance, right? Let him dance. I don't think I have that on my... I got to put that on my MP3. Let the little girl dance. Anybody else like that song? It's a good song. Yeah, if you haven't heard it, Jeff, you should. Okay, but that was pretty good, guys. I know I totally skipped over the thing about Merle Haggard and Luther Vandross. I was telling them, you can't disagree with truth, but you can disagree with opinion. So if I sit there and say, I believe Jennifer Lopez is more physically attractive than Luther Vandross, and you disagree, I go, thanks for the 411. Alrighty then. Okay, I'm not turning my back to you. I'm walking away slowly. It's a joke. Okay, it's funny. Okay, I didn't tell that one to my dad. He didn't get it. I said Merle Haggard at first, because Dad knows who Merle Haggard is, but he doesn't know who Luther Vandross is. And I said, I probably like Merle Haggard's music better than Jennifer Lopez's. And that's not an insult. Merle Haggard's really good. But my favorite Merle Haggard song, is Shelley's Winter Love. And my favorite Jennifer Lopez song is I've Been Thinking. And if you gave me a choice between what song would you want to listen to more if you were locked up in solitary confinement by a bunch of pervert military assholes who hate you, I would probably choose I've Been Thinking over Shelley's Winter Love, because I've Been Thinking shows a little bit more empathy and respect for one another and hope that things will be good for both people being discussed in the song. Yeah. So, yeah. If I took my favorite song of both those artists, I would probably have given a choice, which is insane and militarized and wackadoodle, but I would choose I've Been Thinking over Shelley's Winter Love. That's a ginormous compliment. Just in case anybody out there, Maxination's mom, might be wondering. Yeah. But I told Dad after that as well, it'd be more like they did that about Luther Vandross. But I'm quite sure that if Jennifer Lopez would say, yeah, I like my songs too, but if they gave me a choice, it's Luther. And I'd be like, you are so modest. I said, Luther, she goes, Luther Vandross, in my opinion, sings better than me. And I said, yeah, Luther Vandross, in my opinion, also sings better than me. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying there? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, and I told Dad, he goes, you haven't heard him, but you got to hear him. He's almost like if Pavarotti could be an R&B singer, he would be Luther Vandross. Wow, yeah. No, that's everybody. Everybody's like, yeah, he nailed it. That's hit it out the park. If Pavarotti could be a R&B singer, he would be Luther Vandross. Yes, sorry. That would be the tenor of all tenors in R&B. He's that good. Yeah. There are others that were like, I don't know, Sam Cooke's pretty good. This is pretty good. Yeah, he is good, but Luther, yeah, that's true. He's really. He's almost like of R&B. He's almost like the Pavarotti of R&B. And I don't think most people will argue with that. His voice is so beautiful, so smooth, so expressive, that you're like, wow. Never too much, never too much, never too much. So amazing to be loved. I follow you to the moon and the sky above. Only I don't even come close to doing it justice, right? Okay. Shut up, Jennifer. You didn't have to agree so quickly, you meanie. I'm just kidding. Okay, I like Max and Emmy's mom sometimes. I love her all the time. I like her sometimes. Sometimes I like her more than today than yesterday. Hopefully not as much as tomorrow. Maybe she gets better even tomorrow. Shows up for the Lord's Prayer tomorrow because it didn't happen today. Okay, I love you. I know. I think I'm the focal point for correcting technology. And I think once that's done, I think a lot of people are going to come up to me and say, thanks, I was rooting for you all along. Yeah, Miss Mo's full of shit. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. It's a joke. It's funny. Okay, guys. We'll talk later. It wasn't that funny of a joke? I thought it was pretty funny. Boy, what do you know for funny? Okay, guys, we will talk later. Later tonight? I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Who knows? Worst day of my life. What do you think? Like your sleeves. They're real big. Okay, guys. Love you.